Hey everybody, this is Asian Luna here. So as you guys know, I got a lot of school-related stories. I would say that my school career has been quite eventful, I must say. Especially in Singapore, like I had no fucking breathing room. So this story is going to be about how I was completely cucked by the school librarian. While we're all sitting comfortably, I feel like it's time to get right into the story. So this particular story started off in Dover Court International School. So what happened was North Anglia, which was a British school company, yeah, they took over the school, made everything really bad for me. And during that point in time, I was actually kind of a rebellious piece of shit. I did a lot of fucking stupid things around this point in my life. You know what I mean? I was really impulsive during that point in my life. So my school was a former military base. That's where the building was located, and that's where North Anglia found my school. It was in his old military base in Dover Road. So my school had a library like right in the entrance, and the librarian, I don't know what the fuck happened, but she used to be so nice to the students before North Anglia took over the school. So I didn't know what the fuck happened, but ever since North Anglia took over the school, yeah, I've noticed that her demeanor changed. I noticed that she would give a lot of people who are troublemakers in my school death stares for some strange reason, including my ear group, especially with me. So we're gonna call this librarian Lorraine. Now Lorraine, for most of my senior year, was kind of a fucking dick to me. No, actually, that's just putting it lightly. I don't know what the hell type of brainwashing did North Anglia do to her, but all of a sudden, she was a major piece of shit who spent most of those days in North Anglia praying for my literal downfall. She was just praying for either me or anybody in my ear group to step out of line so she can pin it on me. I remember one time when I came down with a flu and my parents still forced me to go to school. So basically I was just sitting there not wanting to talk to anybody because I felt like absolute shit. And I didn't want to pass whatever virus I was having that day to other students in the school. So I turned down a conversation to another student because obviously I wasn't feeling well, who then decided to take it out of proportion and snitched on me. Which obviously I took the scolding because I just didn't have enough energy to deal with this bullshit. And just my fucking luck, of all the teachers who he decided to pick to tell on me, he decided to pick our fucking librarian. Which I'm not planning to defend myself in this state I'm in. So I basically just rolled my eyes as she got up and started scolding me, which I let it happen obviously. All the while my head was throbbing. So the story of how I turned down a conversation due to me having the flu basically got twisted into me bullying the fucking kid. Which is absolutely bullshit, by the way. And of course, the authoritarian communist regime that is North Anglia believed in every single fucking word she said. Instead of, you know, sending me to the nurse's office, which I clearly needed at the time. Any logical organism with a pulse could easily tell by the fact that my head's down that I was quite literally feeling under the fucking weather. But no, it's North Anglia. A logical observation will be too much for their puny little fucking minds. So that was in year 8, which, yes, my school's British based, so we had a British grading system. Yeah, to any Americans, are you mad? I hope you are. So anyways, the main course of this story started off in year 9. As you guys probably would know, this was the final year I was studying in Dover Court International School before transferring to St. Clair. Now at this point in my life, save for a few students in the school, a lot of people in school knew me as the troublemaking kid. There were certain things I did in retaliation with other people that got me suspended quite a few times, both inside of school and outside of school. And overall, I was actually looking forward to dropping out of this dystopian fucking school. So for one of these days, I woke up in a bad mood, got into my uniform, got some breakfast, head down the stairs, grabbed my bag, left the house, got onto the bus to school. So while on the bus to school, I just texted, just checked all my socials, do whatever I do to just pass the time. And like after half an hour, we got to school. So I got off the bus, went straight to the main entrance. I was set for a pretty shitty day. So I waited for my homeroom teacher in the cafeteria with most of my classmates. In fact, my entire year group. So I dapped up my friends and flipped off my rivals, and then we caught up. Eventually, our homeroom teacher showed up and we were escorted to the classroom for us to unpack, set our stuffs down. So we all sat on our desks, fucking miserable as all hell, and waited for our first lesson. And of course, the first lesson is maths, which honestly, I hated the subject. Thank God that day I had enough motivation to get through that lesson as quickly as possible. After that, it was snacks, so we head down to the cafeteria, just ate all our stuffs down. Since we had some time to kill, we just went to the library to pass the time there. And that's where the story picked up, because two of my classmates decided to play fucking keep away with another person's snack. So we're gonna call these two Rick and Morty. So Rick and Morty decided to play keep away with Austin's snack. Yeah, Austin is the Aussie kid that was the victim of that game. All the while, all I was doing is just reading a fucking book. So the antics of these three idiots kind of drew in a lot of attention, a lot of not needed attention with Lorraine, who basically just stared up on her desk since she couldn't tell exactly who was throwing that packet of biscuits across the fucking library. So at first she was like, alright, stop throwing that thing around, which obviously fell on deaf ears considering we're dealing with Rick and fucking Morty. Obviously this bullshit was clearly distracting Lorraine, and I don't blame her. Now this time I can definitely tell her patience were running thin due to the tone of her voice when she said, now I'm gonna look up again, and when I do, I swear to God, the next person who even touches that thing, who even picks that fucking biscuit up to throw it, is gonna get it from me. So after that threat, she sat down and continued doing her work for a half an hour. That time, the fucking biscuit Rick and Morty was throwing around landed right next to me on the same sofa I was on. So naturally I did what comes instinctual and picked the fucking thing up. I was going to pick it up and give it to Austin. The problem was, I picked the fucking thing up right as Lorraine stood up from her desk to see what the hell was going on, obviously catching me with that fucking biscuit in my hand. So at this point I was like, oh shit, alright, let me explain to myself, Lorraine. So Lorraine and I were just arguing back and forth. I was like, no, Lorraine, I swear to God, I wasn't actually throwing the thing. I was just picking up something. It was all Rick and Morty. Blame them, don't blame me. And then she was like, no, I saw you, Paleo. I saw you with that fucking biscuit in your hand. Don't lie to me, don't deny it. I saw it, I caught you with it in your hand. At this point, I was just flabbergasted because this bitch wasn't even giving me a chance to defend myself and actually explain myself. So at this point in time, I lost my patience completely. So I was like, for the last goddamn time, I did not throw the fucking biscuit. All I did was pick it up to give it to Austin. Why don't you get your eyes checked, you fucking old hag ass cunt? Which is what I did right in front of her. Austin came over to me while in my argument, and without looking at him, I passed him over the fucking biscuit so he can reclaim it, proving this old hag wrong. However, instead of apologizing, this bitch decides to double down and send me out of the library, basically banning me from the library. Now, for some reason, my class thought it was funny, so they started laughing, which it was a horrible idea. Now, during that point in time, I was just outside walking away from the library, just mumbling to myself, while the situation I'm in is bullshit. Like, I don't deserve this at all. I turned back to see what was going on because my classmates laughing was kind of pissing off the librarian. So I turned around to look at the library just as the librarian was crashing out. She was like, oh, we're laughing now. Huh? Cause this shit's funny? This shit's funny? Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't you fuck asses join Paleo outside? Matter of fact, all of you, get the fuck out of this library right now. Oh yeah, you heard me. Get the fuck out of here. You're banned. You're all banned. Year 9 is banned from the library. Yeah, it's not so funny now when you're all in the frying pan, is it, you little shits? So I was looking at that situation with two emotions running through my head. One was like, oh, that's just fucking bullshit. Why are we getting penalized for being fucking kids? Well, another part of me was saying, well, I bet you look real fucking stupid for laughing at me now. It's not funny now, is it? Join the club, motherfuckers. So, my classmates left the library as pissed off as I was about the situation, which thankfully for me numbed the pain of me being wrongfully and unjustly accused by the fucking witch known as Lorraine, considering the fact that I was no longer suffering alone. Sometime later, while walking away from the library, we bumped into the other members of our year group who were coincidentally on their way to the library. Oh boy, we sure have news for them. So we told them that because of Rick and Morty, we were now banned from the school library. Well, the other members of our year group decided to walk in anyways and see for themselves. Yeah, they found out the hard way. So yeah, they walked into the library anyways, getting scolded by Lorraine and getting told that they were banned from the library. So they came out of the library, pissed as all hell. I mean, welcome to the club, I guess. So I was getting questioned by half of my year group because Lorraine didn't tell them the truth. So I had to tell them it was Rick and Morty who was throwing that biscuit around, and I only got caught picking it up. In which they believed in me, thank God. So my year group spent the majority of our recess just lamenting the fact that we were basically banned from the library because some idiot in my class decided to fuck around. And of course, I was processing this situation situation like, what the hell's wrong with my life? Like, why does this always happen to me? So at this point, a lot of my classmates were pissed off at our librarian and wanted to get her fired, which I don't blame them. I mean, this bitch was a fossil. She was literally old enough to be the next United States president. So yeah, eventually the bell rang, marking the end of snack time recess. So we left the cafeteria, made our way back to class. On the way to class for second period, we met up with my teacher. I'm gonna call him John. So we met up with John and we told him exactly what happened with Lorraine. So I told John what actually happened, how Rick and Morty was fucking around and I got in trouble because I picked up the biscuit they were throwing around. Basically, I took a bullet for these two idiots. I mean, if I had a nickel for every time I took a bullet for my classmates, I'd have 2 nickels. Which isn't a lot, but it's kind of weird that it happened twice. So John decided to go speak to Lorraine, which that's why he told me. So you went to the library to talk to Lorraine, and after, like, I'd say, like, about 1 to 2 minutes, he came back, confirming that Lorraine was still 6 inches deep into her delusion, in which she still believes that I was the one who was fucking around in the library, therefore my entire year group is still banned. Nearly everybody in my year group, including me, was like, oh, for fuck's sake. I mean, to die on that hill no matter what. Yeah, honestly, I'll give her that. She has a very strong will. You know, actually, now that I think about it, I'm actually kind of glad that Lorraine is still working as a school librarian. Can you imagine her working as a jury or a judge and I get thrown in court? Yeah, I'm definitely fucked. This bitch is gonna find me guilty either way. Even though I have evidence suggesting I'm innocent, I'm still fucked. Oh, wait. It gets better. It gets better. What really had me on the floor rolling was the fact that this fucking school had surveillance in the fucking library. I shit you not, this school had physical evidence which suggests that I'm innocent. But no, this fucking school's gonna believe in the story of an old ass fucking school librarian and still find me guilty. Oh yeah, about that. So I got through second period, lunch, and then third period, my last period. And then eventually it was time to go home. So I got all my stuff, I packed all my stuff, and I was finally able to make my way to the bus to get home. So I got on the bus, sat down and spent the entire bus ride home, literally processing my situation just now. So eventually I got off, made my way back to my unit. Now at this point in time, I really wanted to take my mind off of that situation I experienced. I was really planning to just drop my stuff down at my place so I could just head on over to Rick's place, which isn't really far away from where I live. Because what better way to forget about this extremely fucking stupid situation you wind up in at school than by kicking it with your friend, maybe playing some COD or Halo. So yeah, that was the initial plan. So I got everything planned out in my head. So I got to my unit, got into the lift, went to my floor, opened the front door of my house just to see my mom sitting on the sofa waiting for me. So my mom was like, oh, Paleo, you're home. Well, the school called saying that you were fucking around in the school library. At this point in my head, I was like, oh, this fucking school, man. Like, bro, I knew it. I fucking knew it. Yeah, I knew this will happen. Judging by my school's track record, they were gonna believe every single word Lorraine told them. And all of this just so they can have the excuse to throw me out. For some strange reason, North Anglia wanted to purge the entire school of Taiwanese students, and I was on the top of their hit list. Apparently, Andrew Fitzmaurice thinks he's Donald Trump. Don't ask me why, I have no fucking idea. So I told my mom it wasn't me who threw that fucking biscuit around and it was Rick and Morty and I was innocent. Which my mom agreed with me. She was like, yeah, I had a feeling that that school is full of shit. I just wanted to speak with you for confirmation, that's all. So I decided to retreat to my room, hop onto a game of Uber Strike. Yeah, that was a really popular game back in the day. So I played a couple of matches, only stopping for dinner. Then I hopped off, went to bed, wondering how the fuck I wind up in situations like these. And yeah, just drifted off to sleep. Well, there is a silver lining to this because eventually I was able to transfer from Dover Court to St. Clair. So after a few years, when I eventually dropped out of St. Clair, I actually met up with my tutor who told me exactly what happened. Like, he filled me in what happened the day I left. So apparently I left the school at a perfect time because the day I actually left, the school became more and more authoritarian, harkening back to the days of Peiset Chompo or the White Terror. And in that same exact logic, I actually became the symbol of rebellion. No, seriously, the entire school thought I was some sort of Spartacus figure, which I'm flattered after all these years I'm still being remembered as a hero in that school by the students. And also, fuck you to the moon, North Anglia. So anyways, that was the story of how the school librarian threw me under the bus. More of the story, when something lands next to you, don't pick that thing up. So anyways, if you happen to enjoy this story, yeah, just let me know in the comments, but you don't really have to like the video. I mean, if you want to, that's fine, and I appreciated it, but you do you. Don't worry, I'll upload more stories like this when I have time eventually on my schedule. Anyways, gotta go. Thanks so much for watching. Peace.